everyone. Today in our Google Forms video series, we are talking about using, or well, not using, but seeing that Google Form data. So here I have my student interest inventory survey that we created in our first video. And if you see here that on the Google form where I'm, able to edit and everything, up at the top, it says questions and responses. There is a 7 up there at the top that tells me that 7 people have taken my survey. So I go ahead and click on responses here. I can see who has responded. Now I did end up setting this up so that way I would have the email collected. And secret, I'm the one that took the survey 7 times. So my email is the one that's popping up. But if somebody else had taken the survey under a different Google account, then that email would pop up. So if you look at this first page here, it's just a summary of all the results. So here, who has responded with their email, all the first names people typed in, all the last names people typed in, and then just their answers to their questions. So this was a short answer. So they all typed in their short answer. This was the types of technology they have at home. So I like that it kind of compiled everybody's together here. So I know that 5 of my students have a Chromebook at home. 5 of my students have a tablet or an iPad. 5 have a smartphone, 2 have a laptop, and 1 has a desktop. And nobody has nothing. So it's a good way for it to kind of like combine it all into one big summary. So here's my favorite subject. It seems like 2 people have a favorite subject of math, and somebody put an all in there, like filled it in. Okay. So a nice summary of just seeing what everyone is in, together. And then here was the ranking we did on each subject area. So looking at this, it seems like I have 3 students, the 3 in bold right there that my mouse won't let me go to, feels that they're okay at writing. And I have 2 friends that feel like they could pretty much do it by themselves. And I have 1 friend who feels like they could teach others. So it was a good way to see where they rank themselves in their, how they feel their capabilities are. So we had that question about whether or not their parents read for books themselves, and it looks like a vast majority of my students' parents do read with a for themselves with a 4, and then 2 no and 1 maybe. And then here we have the genres of books. Again, it's everyone together. So it looks like I have 3 who enjoy realistic fiction, 4 of them who are into nonfiction. Now it does not tell me who selected them, but we will get to the part where it does. And then we have looks like I have 1 person who extremely enjoys reading for enjoyment and 3 people who gave it a 4. So this is just a good way to kind of just get a broad picture of your class here. This was if they uploaded that file that we didn't end up even using that. And then this one I found very helpful about knowing what zone my students were for the day. So I have, a vast majority in green, which is great. And I have some friends in yellow and a friend in red. So I might want to check in with that friend in red. And then here's just if they wanted to share anything with me. Now, if I want to know who wrote "You Are Awesome," I have to go into another section to see who that is. So if we scroll back up at the top here, I can go to, well, let's just go to question. You can look at each question individually. And this is one place where you can see who responded to each one. So let's go ahead and go down to anything you would like me to know about you. So if I click on that arrow up at the top here and go all the way down, then I can see that my friend who says I'm awesome, or, who's awesome, if you click on one response, it would tell me the email of the person. So because I'm the one that did all this, it says my name. But don't worry, there's another way we can do it. But if they were in their Google account, which most of our students are, they would have their email right there and you would know who they are. So this is really awesome because if this was a quiz and you were grading short responses, you'd be able to grade just the response and not necessarily pay attention to whose name it is. So let's go ahead and go to the individual here. And this is where I see the full student survey. So I just go up here and I select on one of the students. And this is Kim's. By the way, I made up all these names. Well, actually, I used a random name generator, but the names are all made up. So Kim here, and I can see exactly what she put for each question. And so she just says no thank you for that question. But I can see specifically what she put for each one. The final thing I want to show you is this view response in Sheets. So survey wise, I don't usually use this very often, but when it comes for quizzes, I'll use that more often than not. So if you click on it, it will create a spreadsheet. Now it may ask you ahead of time, I've already done this, do you want a new existing spreadsheet or create a new one? I usually select create a new one. Here you have the timestamp, the date, the timestamp, the email address, and then the first name, last name, and then all their answers to all the questions. Now, if this was a quiz, it would also have their quiz grade up here. What's nice about this is if you were doing something like, I do my parent log is in a Google form, and if I want to organize it based on student name, then I could come up and do, I could organize it by last name or first name, which again is why I have them separate. So if I click on the column I want to organize, so in this case it's column D, highlight the column, right click, sort A to Z or Z to A. Here's A to Z. There's all my kids based on last names in alphabetical order. Or I could do Z to A and that switches them. And then these guys stay with them. So whatever responses they wrote stay with that name. So just a nice way to organize those. All right. Let's go ahead and quickly talk about a quiz. So here is a force of motion quiz. I shortened this guy and added some different questions in there so we could see a different thing, different styles. So I have 3 responses here. So if I click on responses, here's my summary. I've got the average, median, and range. There's the points they scored. And then here's the questions mostly missed, student names. And then here I can see how many got each question correct. This was one of those multiple choice in the rows. So you could go to each row and look at each one to see how your students as a whole class did. And then there's just basically per question. And then you did have some fill in short answers here. These ones you have to grade separately. So this data here at the top, right here, will change once you grade the short answers because right now they're not in there. So this is where I actually use the question tab, where I will scroll down to my short answers, which I know are my 25 and 26. So if I go to 25, I can read what each student wrote and then select, did they get it wrong? Did they get it right? Do they only get half credit? So I mark that they got it wrong. This one I get a half credit, and this one they got no credit. So then if you go back to your summary, this changed because now you graded the short answer. So, that's just one thing you have to keep in mind. And then you can go to individual like before, and you can see each student's quiz and what they missed. And then if you saw anything like, oh, I guess that should be 1 point, you can change their points there too. And then release score just sends an email to the kids letting them know their score if it was connected to their email address. And then like per usual, or like last time, you can view responses in Sheets. I have already done this, so it's not asking me if I want to create a new one, but I usually do. And then here you have their score. So you could actually, I believe, nope. Yeah, no, never mind. So there you can see your scores, your student first name, last name, and then all of their lovely answers. All right, I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.